Preventable, simple, self-inflicted, preventable. Much of it's reversible. But at the moment that you get off the couch and do 10 squats when yesterday you did none, and then you go to the refrigerator and you have a meal that is low glycemic. Suppose it looks like some turkey breast and some broccoli and some cashews. Now you've just broken the hyperglycemic nightmare, have lowered your blood sugar, and you've exercised. You know what you did? You eliminated the root cause of your chronic disease. In the space of time it took you to do 10 squats and go to the refrigerator and have one meal that wasn't deranged, you've eliminated the root cause. So Dr. Pfluger's sitting in my house and he says, you know what they call that when you eliminate the root cause? I go, no, what do they call it? He says, they call that a cure. You've cured your chronic disease. You're not better yet, but you've removed the underlying cause. And it doesn't come back until you have another shitty meal or the next day don't do 11 squats. We're the only ones teaching this. We collectively, CrossFitters, affiliates, trainers, you're all gonna be L1 trainers here very shortly. We sit collectively in unique possession of an elegant solution to the world's most vexing problem. And it may be so elegant that it's optimal. So this is yours. You can take this and run with it.
Kids, there's an epidemic of kids with mood disorders today. There's a simple, elegant solution. A simple, elegant solution called ancestral living.
Elegant solution to the world's most vexing problem. And it may be so elegant that it's optimal.
I'm done trying to shove this information down people's throats. Like the fact is, like, especially people around you.
You sound so much like Greg Glassman. You sound so much like the founder of CrossFit. Yeah. You guys, it's amazing. It's almost like you guys we're cut from the same cloth.
Yo, this is interesting because it's going to be my third, fourth, maybe fifth video involving the Liver King. It's not loosely tied, but it is directly tied to Greg Glassman because Greg Glassman is the Liver King. The Liver King is Greg Glassman. Finkel is Einhorn.
Einhorn is a man! Oh my God!
There are so many tie-togethers at which I'm going to point directly to towards the end of this video, but first I want to set this thing up with, I make a video yesterday trying to show people what he could possibly have been using $12,000+ of performance-enhancing drugs for month after month after month. I think he did that because he wanted to spread the message of the thing that had saved his children's lives. Makes sense to me. Comes down to that. And as long as I settle on that and he doesn't do anything else that's like absurd, he's cool by me. I always ask why people get so upset, because now when I see people getting upset about certain things, it's like, what is behind it? What's behind like your anger? Why are you in this comment section? I love people in my comment sections, but sometimes I can't wrap my head around why they can't get past the fact that he used performance-enhancing drugs. He didn't hurt me. Sounds like he got re-hurt. He hurt other businesses in a similar field. He hurts the reputation of legitimate and truthful coaches and companies. We're not talking about CenterFit. We're talking about Liver King. Stay on topic. I am over it. Never believed him. You want to continue the spotlight by posting a video and shifting the issue from his lying as an attempt at justification. Sure. Yeah. I like the word justification. I talk about it all the time when it has to do with people who want to go drink at a party. Oh, I got to do it in order to loosen up. Everyone's doing it. I don't want to look weird. I'm the one who looks weird. The entire world is out there ganging up on the Liver King. And the thing that's interesting about this comment section is that it's been about as backlashy as I could ever have seen in one of mine. Typically, people are like patting me on the back. It's like, oh yeah, I agree. This is worse than the Tia Toomey Natty or Not comment section, where some people are like, how dare you? You can't say that. Like, all right, but this one is worse. A couple of them. Some people are just saying you're out of your fucking mind. Some people are like, we believed in you. We trusted you.
He trusted you!
What you can learn from me is that I try to look a little deeper than the surface level. I haven't watched the news in a decade. I go over to my dad's house, he's watching the news, and I'm like, what are you wasting your time for? They don't even tell you anything. Like, oh, I like the news. It's like, all right, you like the news. I want to stay up to date. It's like, you want to stay up to date with what? Which I suppose brings me to the connection between Greg Glassman and the Liver King. Why and what are the connections other than the words that they echo throughout the time and time again you're ever going to hear them talk? Greg Glassman got kicked out of CrossFit in 2019, 2020, right around there. He tweeted something that got him in a lot of trouble. Did he deserve to get into that trouble? How many of you are like my dad who watch the news? I don't watch the news. Somebody had to tell me what was going on there, and then somebody else had to tell me what was going on there. And the thing about that was they had differing opinions about the entire topic. And then I asked a third person and a fourth person, and then it was split again. Like 2 people said one thing and then 2 people said another thing. And I'm like, all right, how do I freaking make my mind up? I go to the internet. You go to the internet, you're going to see that maybe 4/5 to 90% of people are on one person's side, but you're still going to see 10% of people littering in, sprinkling in their 2 cents worth in relation to the Floyd 19 tweet. So I take a huge step back. I try to take it all in. Say, all right, what's going on here?
What's going on?
Of course, the question about Greg Glassman is he a freaking racist? Go on the internet. Greg Glassman, racist. All you're ever going to find is stuff in relation to the Floyd 19 tweet. But then it's like, what did he do? Somebody tell me an instance in which he was actually racist. And then it comes to the dude, Andy Stump, on the Full Send or whatever podcast. And he's got the shooting range in the background. He's sitting there and he's like, yep, not only is he racist, but he's also a sexist. And I was like, all right, I'm going to need some sort of proof from somebody because he speaks in wishy-washy, floating stuff. And it's like, we have people, there are people. I'm like, okay, I want to see it. Like, tell me! Which brings me to a point about the NFL. If you follow it, there's an athlete who just played his first game back after a 2-year suspension. His name is Deshaun Watson. Over the course of his young NFL career, he was a great QB, arguably one of the top 3 in the league. And then he took 2 years off because the NFL put him on a suspension. He had 24 sexual lawsuit allegations against him because he would wander into a freaking massage parlor and then he'd go, here's a $20 bill. And it's like, that's not good. You can't do that. And the thing that's different about that situation and the Greg Glassman situation is that 24 separate women masseuses came forward. Maybe they don't have their names, but we have a number of people that he actually did this to which, well, Deshaun Watson's back 2 years later. He paid his $5 million fine when he just signed a $280 million contract, did a couple of freaking therapy sessions, and he's back on the field 2 years later. In my opinion, what the fuck is he doing back on the NFL field? But then Greg Glassman had to sell the company that he put his heart and soul in. It was his baby, and he did all of this stuff for all of these people because he made a tweet and then someone else said some stuff about some people that never came out of anywhere. Everyone's hearing this, but really think about it. Go do your own research. Everywhere on the internet, I've done it. Can't find anything. But just like my dad, maybe you heard something on the news. And maybe just like the Liver King situation, you see steroids, you see cheater, you think Barry Bonds, you think Lance Armstrong. It's to my knowledge, common knowledge, that many of, if not most of the top cyclists at the Tour de France are all using performance-enhancing drugs. The parallel to this situation is Joe Rogan thinks he's educated there, but all of a sudden it's not okay for the Liver King here to be doing what he's doing. And also we can say Greg Glassman got canceled, so I wanted to put my foot into the freaking sand. I should have done something when it came to Greg Glassman. I was at the affiliate at this time, but it's from knowing that I didn't do anything that I would look back on it and I wish that I had said something. To which at this point in time, if, and I know that it's a big if, and it's a leap, you have any information about Greg Glassman doing anything other than tweeting something, I don't need to fucking be directed at the tweet. I've read the tweet. Has he been racist to you? Has he made sexist remarks towards you? Would you be going to a lawyer to file charges against this guy? And if you have, how come I haven't seen them anywhere in the same way that I've seen Deshaun Watson's 24 allegations against him? I'm not going to look at Greg Glassman, who put together the thing where I sit here surrounded by CrossFit crap talking about CrossFit stuff and then also just destroy him because he made one tweet in 4 seconds that got him entirely thrown out the door. Like, I guess the same 4/5 or 90% of people would on the internet because it's easy to gang up on people when they're down. But it's not easy, and I've been there to stand up for somebody when they're going through a hard time. Let's see how these guys are even more similar than you might think.
I have really no hope for the public health, and yet I have perfect hope for everyone that I meet and bring into my gym. I know I'm gonna make you better. What do I mean by better? You get to decide. You tell me if you're not better when we're done. Not even done, 6 months in. Write it down, hide it, don't show me what it is, pick all those things that this would make me better and hide it. Have someone come in your gym and tell them I'm gonna make you better. That's what I'm gonna do for you. You decide what it means. Go over there and write it down on a little piece of paper. Put down 5 things that make you better. I don't care what it is. I'll give you hints. Be a better dad, lower your triglycerides. What would make you better? Write it down. Put it in an envelope. And after you've been here for 6 months, pull that open. I still don't wanna look at it. I'm never gonna look at it through the whole experiment. I'm not gonna look at it. And you're gonna look at the things on that list and you're gonna come tell me, did your exposure, did your coming in here make you better? I know the answer. I know the answer. and do functional movement at an intensity that's a match for your psychological and physical tolerance. Restrict your carbs, get adequate protein, enjoy fats, and see what happens. You'll come out better. You'll be functioning better, which makes everything better. It's kind of a trick, but it is true. And whatever you wrote down and folded up, whether it was to be a better dad or improve with my racquetball, after 6 months of CrossFit, you're gonna go, you know what? This is clearly helping.
You get out there and fucking work and you feel amazing, right? We get rewarded for that. You stack a life, and in a week, your life is it's better. In a month, it's
way better.
better. In a year, you know, you can become anything you want. So it's a different life.
Greg Glassman used to say,
after 6 months of CrossFit, you're gonna go, you know what? This is clearly helping.
I've consumed an insane amount of Liver King information over the past couple of days, as a lot of you guys have. He says the same thing over and over and over again, to the point where it's like, how does anyone still listen to you when you say the same thing over and over? But the reason he does that is because it drives the same message across. Right there, when I was looking into the Greg Glassman content, he does the same thing, to the point where it's even the same thing. 2011, hey, write down things that you want to get better at. And then 2017, write down things you want to get better at. CrossFit's going to make you better. Month after month, after 3, after 6, after 12 months, you're going to see that this is helping. Same thing like stacking the ancestral tenets is going to also make you better.
Constantly varied high-intensity functional movement, meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar, increases work capacity across broad time and modal domains. It also drives that sickness, fitness, wellness continuum from wherever you start it sick or start it well, you move in the right direction towards fit. And what that also does is it improves a handful of essential health metrics like HDL, the good cholesterol, triglycerides, blood pressure, glycated hemoglobin, A1C, and the 3 elements of body comp, bone density, muscle mass, and body fat. Moves each of those in the right direction, as if by magic.
And Paul dissected everything, and he's like, and we eat some chocolate, and it's 100% cacao fucking chocolate. 100% cacao chocolate with some wild honey. Well, everything you're doing is pretty solid, but here's what you got to do, like the honey and the chocolate. Within 2 days, he got better. Within 2 fucking days.
As if by magic. And simple in the solution, get off the fucking couch and let's eat better. But that doesn't mean someone said it well, if it's that simple, then why are so few people doing it?
And they know something's missing. They know. Adults know that.
Oh, because it's really hard. Simple, but hard. Hard to not eat the carbs. It is. Maybe not for you so much, although, we're all human, right? But for some people, it's beyond hard.
But kids today need to go through something tough. And this is part of the reason why I'm trying to promote Barbarian the way that I'm promoting it, is because you know how many adults never have had a rite of passage, period? And they know something's missing. They know. Adults know that there's something sacred that is missing.
Wow.
They've gone through a rite of passage.
Wow.
They want to go through this rite of passage. I can't tell you how many people come here and visit, and they're like, hey, can I do that thing? Can I do Barbarian?
Adults want to go see the Liver King because they want to do the Barbarian, because they know that they've been missing something in their lives, because at some point everybody had things rather easy, and if you have everything easy, then nothing is ever really rewarding to you. Talks about it all the time. You got videos of people like Jesse James West and even the Buttery Bros who are doing the Barbarian because adults want to do the stuff. Also, I know Jesse James West, I put at the end of this somewhere that he's still aboard, he's still with the Liver King because he's known him, he still knows that he's a good dude. What do the Buttery Bros think about the Liver King? Nothing controversial though, not from them. That's okay. But what I'll never forget is when I would do bodybuilding prep stuff in and around my wrestling career, you'll realize that through wrestling, through bodybuilding prep stuff, when you take things away and you keep things out of your diet, when you introduce them back in, it's like the greatest thing ever. And I did some sort of a 2-week deplete leading into some freaking bodybuilding photo shoot that I had done. And I did this wicked carb deplete. It was probably way too much, and it was 2 weeks of basically 0 carbs. And then before the photo shoot, I wanted to carb load, and I had a sweet potato that I stuck in the microwave, no butter, no brown sugar, no nothing. I just freaking peeled the skin off after having microwaved it and made it all soft, bit in, and it was like eating a Snickers bar. That's how good that sweet potato was. 2 weeks, no carbs, and it was like, wow, this thing is freaking amazing. And then my body felt freaking amazing after having eaten that. But before that point in my life, the bodybuilding, the wrestling time period, I was a fat little shit. I would go to Taco Bell and my order was 4 soft-shell tacos with no lettuce plus tomato. And if it came into my freaking possession with lettuce on it, like, I'm not eating this, there's green shit on my freaking taco. I was that picky. But after I went through the period of wrestling, where you know how wrestling goes, everyone's freaking crazy, they don't eat for months at a time, and then the bodybuilding prep, I will eat anything. Whatever's in front of me. It happened to this day. That change happened when I was 14, 15, 16 years old, and I am now 31. But I remember what it was like when I was a picky little shit. My parents didn't like it very much, but I guess it's also kind of their fault. Maybe they should have made little 14-year-old Andrew do the freaking barbarian.
And you keep plugging along, you keep coming in, and man, it's them, not me. It's them, not me.
To the 4,000 people a day who kill themselves, the 80,000 people a day that try to kill themselves, our people are hurting at record rates.
What can I do? How can we make this better? How can we make it better? It becomes endearing.
So we can collectively express our highest and most dominant form. This is my fight. This is why I exist.
You've made them better, it's enduring, and pretty soon it becomes defining.
The 9 ancestral tenets.
They define themselves by their association with you. They identify with being not just a CrossFitter.
What up, Primals? What up, Primals? What up, Primals? What up, Primals?
But an important member of your tribe, your box, and they'll love you forever. Now you're there. You taught me this. I learned this watching you. It took several years, but I listen, I watch. When I meet you, I ask you questions. I want to hear what you think. I want to see how you did it. You did it by making people better. It's endearing, it lasts, it's enduring, it becomes defining who they are. You are the brand.
What up, Primals? What up, Primals? What up, Primals? What up, Primals?
What's my role in this? To support that brand.
So this is my job as the CEO of the Ancestral Lifestyle, is to take this ancestral message mainstream. I'm going to go on every fucking podcast I can go on. If you'll take me, I'm going there. I'm going to spread this message. And once again, it's accessible to everybody.
And that's the most important thing I can do, is to help the rest of the world, to help the affiliates, to help the affiliates trainers, to help the affiliates clients, to help the people that have never heard of us understand that there's something out there called an affiliate that will make you better.
The 9 ancestral tenets.
It's so easy. Not really. It's simple. It's simple.
Did you like that? I thought it was pretty good. I'm pretty proud of like throwing that together. You're going to hear Greg Glassman 2011 giving a speech in which he's talking about things that you need to do as an affiliate to help yourself out. He's got 4 little totems that he's talking about, and then I kind of sprinkle in the Liver Kings tidbits right there. Because they have the same freaking message. They're the same person. And what you guys may see from them as the same people is Liver King's a cheater, Greg Glassman's a sexist and a racist at the surface. And I make the 40-minute video yesterday about the Liver King, and some people still won't soak that up. Greg Glassman in 2019 or 20, whenever he made that tweet, had a whole bunch of people come after him, and then you don't look any deeper. You just take it for surface value. He's essentially the same thing as the Liver King, as a cheater. Throw him out. It doesn't matter what he's done. And I know I'm going to have people in the comments section saying, Andrew, you're defending a racist. It's like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm saying I haven't seen anywhere, and if you want to show me what I'm missing. And don't point out the tweet. That's pop culture. I don't do pop culture. Because if I did pop culture, I would look at the Liver King for having taken steroids and said, he's bad, shun the Liver King.
Shun the non-believer. Shun.
I'll tell you what I see from the two of them. Greg Glassman opened his first affiliate in 2001, Santa Cruz. Currently, there are 15,000 locations in 162 countries. That is as of 2018. Not only is CrossFit the largest fitness chain in the world, comparatively speaking, it's also one of the largest and fastest growing corporate chains. It is in 7th behind Subway, McDonald's, Starbucks, KFC, Burger King, and Pizza Hut in chained restaurant opening locations. Because it's not a restaurant. There was exponential growth in that, which was of course halted by a handful of things, like shutting down the media company and making a tweet that was not received well in the world. But at that point in time, I would have done a similar instance. I accept the fact that the Liver King took steroids, and I appreciate his apology. Does it mean that it was right? Does that mean that more people should do that? No, they shouldn't. Should Greg Glassman have made that tweet? Should he have apologized for it and moved on and moved forward and asked for forgiveness? Yeah, he should have done all of those things. Can you look back now, having been 2 or 3 years later, and have different opinions on the subject? I'm sure a lot of people can. Is CrossFit a better space without Greg Glassman? That guy in all those videos where he's talking about CrossFit in a way that I haven't heard talked about since he got fired, I would say CrossFit isn't in a better place. I was going back and forth in a text thread with somebody today about the Liver King, somebody who actually was buying ancestral supplements, buying liver. And you know what? The text says he's a fraud, period. That's too bad. I responded with, he got you to pursue a healthier lifestyle, comma, right? Response is, sure did, exclamation point. 12K a month in HGH is impressive, which is funny. But the idea is he made him pursue a better life. 15,000 as of 2018. Thank you, Morning Chalk-Up, for the article. These two individuals exploded because they're the same. One message, one goal. And it's almost like they were trying to be chopped off at the knees at the first opportunity because there were people who were trying to take down people who are successful. Andrew, you do it all the time. I'm not actually trying to take anyone down. I want them to change, do better, be better, get better.
What can I do? How can we make this better? How can we make it better?
Own up to it. David Hippensteel, own up to the stuff that you did wrong. And then shake hands, we're good. Slap you on the ass, get back out there. Kick all the 76-year-olds' butts. Thing is, it sounds like your freaking hip might fall apart if you were to kick somebody. Have fun with this one. Andrew Hiller, out.
Is that what you think? You think you're just gonna crush the rock? It doesn't matter what you think.